So what happens to a republic when prosecutions start to look like politics by other means? In the last few weeks, two high-profile indictments were handed down by the same federal court in Virginia. On paper, they appear to follow ordinary legal procedures, but together they raise a deeper civic question about the health of our institutions and what happens when the appearance of justice begins to blur with the pursuit of political revenge. One indictment targets former FBI Director James Comey, the other New York Attorney General Letitia James. Both have been long-standing critics of Donald Trump. Both have featured prominently in his public calls for retribution. And both are now being prosecuted in the same federal district under the direction of a newly appointed U.S. attorney who once served as a Trump lawyer and White House aide. There is a pattern here that goes beyond coincidence, and the story of how we got to this moment reveals why so many legal observers and civic watchdogs are sounding the alarm. Let's start with the Comey case. He's facing two federal charges, making false statements and obstructing a congressional proceeding tied to his reaffirmation in 2020 of statements he originally made during Senate testimony back in 2017. He's pleaded not guilty, and analysts say the timing of the indictment, just days before the 5-year statute of limitations on that 2020 testimony, suggests the case may be legally vulnerable. And his defense team is expected to raise claims of politically motivated prosecution. Meanwhile, Letitia James has been charged with bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. The indictment alleges she misrepresented her intent to occupy a Virginia home she financed, which could have qualified her for more favorable loan terms. She also denies wrongdoing and has called the case a retaliatory move in response to her civil prosecution of Donald Trump in New York. Now, any one of these cases might be defensible on its own, but it's the convergence, the same venue, the same prosecutor, the same pattern of targeting political adversaries that is raising red flags among former Justice Department officials, legal ethicists, and members of Congress. Because while presidents do appoint U.S. attorneys, the line between that appointment power and the use of criminal law for political ends is one that the Justice Department has carefully guarded since the Watergate era. Policies put in place decades ago sharply limit communications between the White House and the DOJ on specific prosecutions. These policies exist for one reason: to preserve public trust that justice is being applied fairly, regardless of who holds power. And the founders saw this danger coming. James Madison warned that the only reliable check on ambition was structure, making ambition counteract ambition. And Alexander Hamilton wrote that an independent judiciary was peculiarly essential in any limited constitution. And John Adams enshrined it in the Massachusetts Constitution, a government of laws and not of men. They knew that if law becomes an extension of political will, then liberty erodes, quietly at first, and then very quickly. I'm going to be hosting, this is a little aside, but I'm going to be hosting a Zoom Salon soon, where we'll reflect on some of these themes together. I'll bring a few passages and stories to help ground the conversation, and from there, we'll open it up. It's not a debate space, it's just a chance to sit together and think more deeply. If that sounds like something you'd value, you can sign up at my website. The link is here, and it's open to anyone who wants a spot. As of recording, there are 6 spots left. Okay, now back to this. This moment isn't just about two cases. It's about whether we still believe in the structural integrity of justice, whether we can trust the prosecutors are being guided by law, not pressure, or not polls, and not a president's enemies list. Because if that trust collapses, it doesn't matter who's in power. The system starts to serve whoever holds the pen. And the rest of us are left hoping we don't end up on the wrong side of it. So here's what I'd ask you to sit with. When the machinery of justice begins to turn toward political ends, not just in outcome, but in process, how do we respond? And what kind of citizens must we become to ensure the law stays anchored to the Constitution and not to the ambitions of any one man? That question is more than theoretical now, and how we answer it may shape what kind of republic we leave behind.